been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. He's been I feel it. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. God has. I want to scream, y'all. I want to scream, y'all. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's so good to me. Let me tell you, God has everybody. Sometimes He has set nobody. I feel so good. God has smiled on me. Oh yeah. Good to me. One more time. God has smiled on me. Every day of my life, I feel it. You give me strength and energy. Help me to sing. He's been good to me. Oh yeah. This is Reverend Al Sharpton of Brooklyn, New York. I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me Dr. King went on. Another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God doesn't smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell them what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to scream, y'all. I want to scream, y'all. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's done good to me. Let me tell you, God has everybody. Sometimes He has set God Almighty, I feel so good. Oh yeah. One more time. Yeah. Every day of my life, I feel it. You give me strength and energy. Help me to sing. He's been good to me. Oh yeah. This is Reverend Al Sharpton. Time it is. It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. Good morning to our West Coast listeners, and welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. For the next 3 hours, it is Hot Button Monday. On Mondays, we open up the phones and let you discuss whatever is on your mind, whatever's in your heart. All you have to do is call me at 1-877
532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, and you'll be heard nationwide, every state and every region of the country. Or you can go to National Action Networks.net live stream. Once you go to live stream, you can go on our message page and you can send me a message, and I'll read as many of them as I can on the air. In fact, I see a few already, many already, really. Georgia, Daniel, Reverend Sharpton, Keep It Real in Toledo, Ohio. Action is the message. You're right, Georgia. Action is the message. The Democracy.Fund, Philly featuring WURD of God via Reverend Sharpton and National Action Network. Thank you, Democracy.Fund. Daryl Prunty is saying, praise the Lord, Reverend Al Sharpton. Some people think we don't have the right to say it's my country, but this is our country too. People up and rolling early and often. I mean, so many messages, we can't get to them all, but I'm going to try. We are in the beginning of a new week. And let's look at what's going on. As I speak, heads of state from Europe are arriving at the White House, where Donald Trump is to meet in about an hour with the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, after his meeting Friday with the president of Russia. Zelensky, who was berated and belittled and any other adjective negative you could think of the last time he was in the White House, in the Oval Office, has brought all these leaders of European countries to try and deal with whatever it is that Trump is proposing and what Putin told him to propose. Probably a smart move was Zelensky getting other leaders of European countries, the Chancellor from Germany, Macron from France, on and on, to be there to offset some of the misbehavior of this president, and also to really deal with the fine points. Now, the reason I'm taking my time running this down is because if this breaks into a expanded war with United States troops, our sons and daughters will be involved. One, but I'm bringing it up because no matter whose kids are involved, the loss of human life is unacceptable. And I think that we are looking at a situation where a group of people in Ukraine demanded their independence from Russia, fought for it. Putin, who has this world view that the earth is his, wants to take them like they went after Georgia. And so far, Trump and him have had a pretty cordial relationship. There's been thousands that have died in this war. And all I could say is Trump said he would solve this the first day in office. He's been in now 7 months, has not solved it, and has gone back and forward with his blame. He's been really a friend to Putin. Then he took a couple of shots a couple of weeks ago to Putin, and then that calmed down. And he literally laid out the red carpet for him. Literally. I ain't talking figuratively. Literally had the red carpet and had him get in the president of the United States limousine, and met for 2.5 hours and came out and announced little or nothing. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how the occupation by the National Guard and ICE in Washington, D.C., now you got 2 or 3 other states saying they'll send in their National Guard to help what is interesting, and I was on a minute this morning on Morning Joe, is that they're not sending the guards to the areas that are supposed to have the high crime. They got them down on the mall protecting the statues. So, first of all, crime has gone down compared to last year this time in Washington. But there is still some crime, and we don't want any crime. So why aren't you where the crime is happening? And Trump is saying, we'll go to other states as well. And every state he named, there was a black mayor and a Democrat. We're going to talk about that. Also, we talk about how the Texas state legislature is coming back in. Some of the Democrats who were holding out is reportedly back in Texas after taking a stand against the redistricting. And it looks as though the Texas Republicans are advancing a mid-decade redistricting plan that could net them 5 extra seats. Now, again, let me make this clear. They don't do districts and redistricts on the usual other than on census years, which is every 10 years. They're going to do it now in 5 because they're trying to get these seats so that they could hold the majority of the House and keep Hakeem Jeffries, who is the minority leader, from becoming the majority leader, which is the Speaker. The Speaker decides the calendar on legislation, who's going to chair which committees. If Hakeem Jeffries became the Speaker, it would be a serious impediment to Donald Trump's last 2 years in office of this term, because he could not get legislation through on the floor. He couldn't even get a vote without having to deal with Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. That's why this is so important. Now, once Texas made its move and the black and Latino and white legislators, Democrats that stood up, stalled the first vote, California, under its governor, Gavin Newsom, said, well, then we'll do redistricting and we'll pick up some more seats. Kathy Hochul, governor of New York, said we'll do the same thing. So it set off a battle of redistricting around the country. Some states have different legalities than others, but there's a determination that they're not going to let this go unanswered. And I'm glad to finally see the Democrats stand up for something. Or I should say, some Democrats stand up for something. And we'll see. But for them to go for a naked, total altercation of what the process has been shows that these people are determined to overturn democracy by any means they can so they can put their legislative agenda through. Well, right now, what's the agenda? Well, Project 2025 showed you that, and what they've done. They put through this big, beautiful bill, which is ugly, giving a tax break on the 2017 laws that gave billionaires and millionaires a lot of tax credits and a lot of tax percentages that were lowered. It cut Medicaid. That bill cut SNAP. We know what the agenda is. It has said that we are not going to deal with diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we know what the agenda is. One thing about Trump, he is not shy or in any way reluctant to tell you where he's at. Question is why we have been so quiet in the middle of these insults. Let me take a break. I'll be right back. Let's start taking your calls and your messages on the message board. It is Hot Button Monday. Come on from behind that cubicle. Go in the hall and call me or send me a message at the desk. They don't know you know how to cheat and send messages for foolishness. It's organizing time. 1-877-532-5797, or you can go and send a message at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Go to live stream and send us a message. We're coming right back after this break. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Of reference. 400 years later, it's time to do some assessing where we came from. While Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, and Mississippi take the hits, the real trade market for commerce and cotton was New York, the port of New York. As a matter of fact, Joe, the first state to end slavery was Vermont. It was all the way up the coast. The big shipbuilders became enriched off of our enslavement. Say our people are not slaves, they are our ancestors. They may be slaves of the person, but they are our ancestors, they are our foreparents. The money is made off of the commodity. We were the commodity in the commodity exchange. And they would import Africans, they export cotton and tobacco. And they built the whole economic system around Wall Street. Africans, because they feared the Indians would attack the Dutch, built a wall on Wall Street. That's what they named it, Wall Street. It's the Africans, with logs and trees, they built a wall around Wall Street, keep the Indians from attacking the Dutch. So Wall Street was named after us. There's a burial ground on Wall Street, which we should all visit. Those are our foreparents. At some point, they moved us to the other end of Manhattan, which is Harlem. So we are on the same island as Manhattan. Manhattan, Harlem, Wall Street, on the same island. Harlem is right down the road from Wall Street. That's interesting that most of our leaders who argued different cases never quite got to march on Wall Street.
That was Reverend Jesse Jackson speaking at National Action Network's House of Justice in 2020, saying that we ignored dramatizing, putting the spotlight on the economic inequalities, the economic issues of this country by never having marched on Wall Street en masse. Well, on August 28th, 5 years later, we're going to do just that. Because with this big, beautiful bill, which is a big, ugly bill that cuts Medicaid and SNAP, with the ending of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and initiatives in the private sector, which gives blacks and others jobs, contracts for businesses, making sure we make the C-suite based on our merit and not excluded because we didn't have the family background in a given place, whether it be academic or business. The people that benefited from that are the ones on Wall Street that deal with the stock markets, that deal with the Dow Jones, that deal with making trade off of the decisions of those that supported the Trump initiatives in this area. So we are not this year going to Washington on the anniversary of the March on Washington. On the anniversary of the March on Washington, we're going to Wall Street. And Reverend Jackson, we're going to do what you said. Thousands of us are going to non-violently but firmly come and say that the dream cannot be deferred by tax cuts for the rich and cutting those out that need food assistance, that need support with health care and other economic policies that have choked the middle class and the poor. August 28, 2025, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, get the details. Meet us 10 a.m. at the African Burial Ground and be ready to march. Buses are coming from all over the country. Go to that website or call 1-877-626-4651. No justice, no peace. Look at the story. We celebrated Good Friday and Easter just a couple of weeks ago. Well, there's a message in that. I heard a preacher talk about this the other week. The thing that people forget, I want you to keep this in mind, is they crucified Jesus. Those of us that are Christian believe they hung him on a cross, maligned him, mocked him. Wasn't enough to nail him. They mocked him, saying, if you be the king of the Jews, step down and deliver yourself. Mocked him. Ridiculed him. He wanted water, they gave him vinegar. Crowned him with a crown of thorns. When they should be giving you your celebratory, they're going to give you some attacks. But the end of the story was they went and laid him in Joseph's tomb. Didn't even have a family tomb. Didn't have insurance like some of us. Laid him in a borrowed tomb. But the third morning, this is the story they tell it. The third morning, when they came to where they laid him, he wasn't there. My message is to you today that don't let them catch you where they laid you. They may kill your name. They may crucify your character. They may tell you you are nothing from nowhere, but when they come to where they laid you, let you be gone on to somewhere else. I've been called everything but a child of God. They said I'd be nothing going nowhere. They castigated us. They called us troublemakers. They called us loudmouth. And when they came to see me go to jail, I wasn't there. They can catch me on MSNBC now. They can catch me leading marches now. I serve a God that not only will go through the crucifixion, but will bring you through the resurrection. We're going to resurrect in the city. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. This is our time. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back 1-877-532-5797, or you can go at live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net, and you can put a message on the message board. A lot to talk about, but let me first give you the announcements. Don't forget, watch Politics Nation every Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. And we had two great shows this weekend. We had Spike Lee. We had one of the legislators from Texas that had left to break up the quorum. We had one of the candidates, the black candidate for mayor for Detroit. We had Robert Smith, one of the wealthiest black men in the country, talking about how he took principles of Dr. King, come out with a new book. You never know what I'm going to have on. And you need to be glued to the screen, because I am glued to preparation to make sure we give you the up-to-the-minute issues from the people that are in the thick of it, so you know what is and is not happening. All right, also let me remind you, every Saturday, you that are in the tri-state area, meet me or beat me to the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem. And we had a great rally Saturday, and this Saturday coming will be leading on up to the Great March, and people are ordering extra buses. I came in Nan this morning from doing Morning Joe, and they said we got 3 cities need more buses. Why? Because marching on Wall Street is going to send a global message from the black community and those that support the black community that we are not going to sit by and allow Wall Street and others to reap all of these profits while they're cutting Medicaid, cutting SNAP, and sending National Guard in, the guards in to take black mayors' cities. And I keep telling people, and I'm going to keep saying it, Trump has been in 7 months. There has not been a mass march led by blacks since he's been in. There's been marches. There was marches over the weekend around redistricting. There were marches around the occupation of the National Guard in Washington. There has been No Kings Week, all of that, and I support all that. But they are called by progressive groups, not a black organization like NAN, like Urban League is with us, like Legacy Organization, like now we're up to 11 unions, saying, wait a minute, we have to put our voice here too. And every 5 years, Martin Luther King III and Andrew Waters King, his wife, Dr. King's son and daughter-in-law, we have commemorations, usually at Lincoln Memorial and Washington, because that's where on August 28th, 1963, Martin's father, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., made the speech that is now historic and known as I Have a Dream. This year we decided to go to Wall Street because that's where they're killing the dream. That's where they're killing DEI. They're financing that. Guy behind that is Bill Ackman and them. They make their money on Wall Street. And that's where we have seen those that support Trump and these cuts to Medicaid, cuts to SNAP, and the fight against voting rights. So since y'all want to put your money in it, we coming by the thousands right there where you are. So go right to the website. You got a little less than 2 weeks now. And go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. nationalactionnetwork.net, and sign up and be a part of the march. And some people coming as far as Kentucky, Louisiana, we got buses coming. But imagine how they had to come by bus, some of them riding the back of the bus, to the march in 63. Imagine in 63, they had to ride and park the bus on the side of the road to go to the bathroom in the woods because they weren't allowed to use the toilets in the restaurants on the road until they got above the Mason-Dixie line. They couldn't stop at the restaurant and get nothing to eat. They had to put some chicken sandwiches in wrappers and eat cold chicken all the way up 95 or whatever route they were coming into Washington. You have no excuse. I have no excuse. Our parents, grandparents did under more difficult conditions what they were supposed to do. And that opened the door where you got a better job than they could ever imagine. You living in a neighborhood that they were never welcomed in. You have opportunities that were not even an option for them. And this man is in your face taking it all back. And you can't go to one rally, one march. I don't see what marching does. Everything you enjoying came because somebody marched and exposed it and dramatized it long enough to crack the door open a little more for you. I hope you don't think that somebody just woke up one morning and said, let's be nice to Negroes. It was the marching. It was the pressure that made people give the Civil Rights Act of 64 and vote for it and make it law. Voting Rights Act of 65, make it law. They're taking all that back, and you sitting around with every excuse. August 28th is the anniversary. This year, State of the Dream we're doing at Wall Street. That's where they're taking the dream. And let me say this, and I'm very serious about this, very sincere about this. People need to study their history to know what makes progress and what doesn't. Sitting home angry, cussing at the television, writing some on social media does not make change. You have to have people in the streets, empowering the people in the suites, empowering the people in office. It is a multiplicity of roles that we must play. And that's the roles they play. They had some people in the Tea Party and then later with the MAGA movement that were in the streets. You had others that got on social media like Bannon. Then you had others that was rallying. That's how they kept going. Even after they lost in 2020, they kept going. And they took a 79-year-old man who had lost in 2020 and put him back in the White House at 79 years old. And he's doing everything they want. I do not think they're smarter than us. I do not think they're more durable than us. I don't think they're more diligent than we are. I think just some of us are lazy. And those that are not, meet me for the Wall Street March. And you can go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, get all the details. But it's marching time. And we ought to be able to be there and make yourself available. Let's take a break. We're going to come back. I'm going right to the phones and read some of our message board entrees. I see you, Portia Davis. Good afternoon, everyone. A serious rollback is in gradually progress. You're right. Wanda Moody says, I'm listening. Democracy.fund says, say it over and over, Rev. I'm going to try my best. Thank you for being with us. Let's take this break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Keeping it real. Stop telling yourself you're not confident of what you could do. When people with half your skills and a quarter of your talent have gone on to create big waves in life, if you look at them and you know you're more gifted than them, then what is your problem? You are looking for someone to come and drag you into success. You've got to use what you have, which is, in my judgment, more skillful than others I've known in your area. Use that and believe in that, and your confidence will build up as you get going and start doing. And don't chase the spotlight. Sharpen your skills. Live in your purpose. And you'll get so good the spotlight will be chasing you. Be so good they can't help but talk about you and put the spotlight on you. You don't get your energy from chasing the spotlight. You get your energy by chasing your purpose. The spotlight and other adulation will come with it. Have a great day. I would argue that DEI is a result of those that by law and later by enforcement would not deal with diversity, would not deal with including people of color, gender, sexual orientation, as well as disabled. And the conscious effort by government and the private sector to begin to equalize the opportunities of this country was something that makes it more humane and fair for all of us. To DEI, diversify, is not based on the lack of merit. We could not show our merit because we were extremely pompous conservatives that talk about we want a society based on merit. Well then, if it's based on merit, then why did you discriminate based on race and gender? Until they cut off much of the population and then had merit between white males. That was what they meant, not merit. Let's have real merit, but let's also make up the ground that those of us with merit was not able to compete.
I want to ask you a question, and that is, what is in your life's blueprint? This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And whenever a building is constructed, you usually have an architect who draws a blueprint. And that blueprint serves as the pattern, as the guide, as the model for those who are to build the building. And a building is not well erected without a good, sound, and solid blueprint. Now each of you is in the process of building the structure of your lives. And the question is whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance.
Past hope, because I grew up, like I said, single mama on welfare, and my mother told me there's a part in life that hope's gonna run out, but she told me you got a double barrel in your engine. I said, what is that? She said you can switch from hope to faith. Faith is a little deeper than hope. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. And I was watching the live stream, and they played different things on the live stream for the people that's watching us. And they played the tape from the Martin Luther King holiday rally we had. The day Trump was inaugurated happened to be on the Dr. King holiday. And we made a pledge that day that we were going to keep the dream alive despite the fact Trump was going to be president. So I know the people that packed that church from all over the country. I know y'all getting on a bus or a plane or something and be at the march. Y'all took a vow. As Trump was taking his oath, we took an oath. And I'm living up to mine. All right, let me kick off the week right. The week is always right when I start by going to Chicago to my dear friend, the one and only Miss Eunice. Miss Eunice, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton on Hot Button Monday.
Good afternoon, Rev. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Well, I'm doing okay. This allergy is kicking me, though, but grateful to God He woke me up this morning. That's a blessing in itself. Rev, I'm glad the European leaders came in support of Zelensky because Trump was just nasty to him last time, and you might as well say kicked him out of the White House. And Reverend, it's a waste of tax dollars with this so-called Putin and Trump summit, which accomplished nothing, not even a press conference. Hello. And did you notice when Trump was standing up, he was nodding, and it's not the first time he did it. And I'm a pessimist. Why did Trump and Putin ride together where they passed some secrets rather than talk over the airwaves? Because it was just a waste of money. And you got a KG man and a war criminal, and you rolling out the red carpet for him. And also, I thought Pence was a yes man for Trump. But J.D. Vance, the elegy hillbilly guy, he's awful. And Mark Marco Rubio is shameful, along with Cruz, who left his constituents in the middle of a crisis in Texas and went to Mexico. And they have no shame, and we
Went
have
to a
got
resort
this.
in Mexico. He wasn't just he didn't go on their business. Now he was at a resort chilling while his
Yeah,
constituents was there dealing with all of that.
and it's not the first time he did and lied, and he had the nerve to rear his ugly head in support of Trump. These guys are getting paid, doing nothing while the people suffer. And if the people don't get together now, I don't know when they ever will. And keep on the case, because you're doing a good job. And I was in the company of a great man on Saturday. I went to push it in. I went with Representative Davis, and it was a great event. And some of the representatives were there. I met them several times at my church pushing over there. So it was a real great event. And thank you for taking my call.
All right, thank you for your call. Let me go to Demetrius in Cleveland, Ohio. WERE, Demetrius.
Hey, thank you, Reverend Sharpton. It's good talking to you usually. Hey, I just caught a glimpse of Trump news conference. Now, he just said he want to pass an executive order to ban mail-in ballots. So his party's working on it.
Yep.
So that it lets you know that they're already attacking, the voting rights of the American people, so they help for them to stay in office. So if people who really, want to have the right to vote and to prevent them from make it difficult for people to go to the polls, we have to take heed of what he's trying to put into effect. And also, I think of the money that he also said that he might send money to Ukraine, but Ukraine will be paying for it. So I believe his ultimate goal, and some of the people's backers, is not for the freedom of Ukraine. It's about what they can make off the resources of Ukraine. Same way that the Soviet Union wouldn't make money off it.
Right.
Of claiming land in Ukraine. And if he's saying, also said he care about the lives of the 1,000 people dying, he don't have any sympathy for the 1,000 people who's going to die because of the cuts he's making, with Medicaid, cutting it back on SNAP, and cutting it back on some of the jobs where people, the livelihood depends on. So to me, that's hypocritical in itself. And also, I think it is important that the European countries are there, because European countries, they have to stand up for their interests in the war. They have spent a lot of money, for Ukraine to defend itself. And also, it has to be taken into account if the Soviet Union want the land from Ukraine to stop the war, some territory. What can stop other countries want to claim land, what they once had? What can stop France want to claim some of the colonies they had in Africa around the world? What can stop Mexico want to claim Texas and California? That was once part of Mexico. So if any country can claim that they want their old territory back, going to China, they can say they want Taiwan back, what they do. That's an irrational basis, to end the war because of past territory. It can be the war is going on for hundreds of years because the way the colonies were set up in Africa, those countries had their borders before the colonists moved in, and also in South America. And if any country stand on their past lines for their country, it'd be wars going on continually, and it would not cease. So to me, that's a baseless reason, to say that Russia want to say they'll stop the war. That just prolong the war for their own benefit. And also we have to. Also, I just want to mention concerning Haiti. I think it'll benefit Haiti also if roads were built in Haiti, so they can have resources given to the people there. They can build their industry there, because there's not too many good roads there for people to get around. It takes them a long time to get from one city to the next, and for goods to reach one point to the next. So the United States and other countries really want to help Haiti, and in one way they can help by building roads. If they really care about trying to build the country up and have Haiti stand on its own 2 feet. Hey, thank you, Reverend Sharpton.
Well,
Thank you very
let
much.
me say this to your
Okay.
part on Haiti is Trump has not said anything about Haiti at all, other than he called Haiti and several African nations S-hole countries, and I'm not going to say the word that what S stood for. And it is amazing to me that we are allowing them to act like Haiti, which is right below Florida, and Sudan, right in the middle of Africa, where they dropped off some of the migrants that they were putting out of the country, and we're not forcing those issues on the front burner. I will at the march, but I mean, I absolutely want to see peace in Ukraine. I absolutely want to see a two-state solution and to stop the starvation of children, babies, in the Gaza. But I also want to see something done about what's going on in Haiti and Sudan and Chad and the Congo. And I think that if we don't raise the issue, it will not be raised. But thank you for your call. Barbara Mason is on our message board saying, you don't have to believe me, just know my name is case I too be another Sonia Massey, Barbara Faye Mason. And with that, what have just done was a milestone for me, okay? I read what you said, Barbara, to get me the case. We fought, I went to Chicago and helped on the Sonia Massey case. In fact, they just made a Sonia Massey law out there. And I was at Reverend Hatch and our affiliate of National Action Network out there, the ministers, Reverend Ackery and others, helped to lead that fight and got Governor Pritzker just did a law around Sonia Massey. All right, let me go to Brian in Philadelphia.
Let's take a break, sir. Let's take a break.
Let me take my break. I'll come right back to you, Brian. Let's take our break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. 1-877-532-5797. Be right back.
Thing past hope, because I grew up, like I said, single mama on welfare, and my mother told me there's a part in life that hope's gonna run out, but she told me you got a double barrel in your engine. I said, what is that? She said you can switch from hope to faith. Faith is a little deeper than hope. Bishop Hilliard is here. Faith is when hope runs out. Faith is the substance of things. Hope for the evidence of things not seen. Faith is when we were emancipated after 246 years of slavery and walked off the plantations with no education, no money, no future. And we built black churches and black colleges and black fraternities. We had faith. Faith made us stand up to the most powerful nation in the world and turn it around. Faith means we went from the back of the bus to the front of the White House. We've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in His holy word. He never failed us yet.
I work out every day. 30 minutes, rigorous workout on the elliptical, on the bicycle, some weights. Wherever I am in the world, I work out every day. So I'm in pretty good shape. The thing I had to work on was laziness. When I started this process years ago of working out after my morning prayer and meditation, someone that I said, you don't have to do it. You did it yesterday. You did the last 5 days. And I found that it was nothing but laziness that stopped me from a daily routine. It wasn't that people say you can get the same amount of being in shape doing 5 days a week or 3 days a week that you get in 7. And all of that may or may not be true. But that was not what was stopping me. It was laziness. And I had to get myself in a mindset that my laziness had to be conquered every day. And if I started my day, prayer, meditation, conquering laziness by working out, it would set a mindset. It would give me a mindset for the day of not letting laziness stop me from doing what I had determined I needed and wanted to do. So I'm not going to debate with you whether you need a daily workout or not. I am going to say you need whatever will make you get by your laziness. With me, it's prayer, meditation, daily physical workout, because I leave my laziness of the day in the gym, and that follows me in my work, in my engagements, in my dealing with people, because I've set a tone of defeating laziness before dawn. For 90 days, they're going to do a study of what companies have pulled out of DI and what companies have a small margin of profit. And we in 90 days are going to announce the 2 companies that we're going after. And we're going to ask everybody in this country, black, white, brown, gay, straight, woman, trans, don't buy where you are not respected. Donald Trump can't make us buy your stuff. The Senate can't make us buy your stuff. In the name of Dr. King, we're going to do what Dr. King did. Trump tweeted the other week, I'm a con man. Don't call me the coin man. I'm going to stop the coins from dropping in the wrong place. One year ago and change, 67 weeks ago, we started marching every Thursday, am I right, on the offices of Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman was the architect of ending DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. He started it. I want to give a little history because a lot of people get Negroitis and get confusion. I don't even mind your ego, everybody need one, but you don't have to become contrary and duplicitous. We got to have integrity even among those with ego. So we started when they first came out against DEI. Now Ackman and them started it going to Harvard University, forcing out the first black woman and first black president of Harvard. We went to his office and been going 67 weeks. I went first 10, 12 weeks. And this brother, stand up, Reverend Ron McHenry, coordinator House of Justice. This brother has been there every week. Many of you here in the audience have marched every week. So we didn't just get in this. We were in it the day they came at Claudine Guy. Last year's convention, we dealt with DEI. This year we said that we're going at these corporations that had come out against DEI. Many of you, most of y'all I'm looking at was at the convention. And we hit Pepsi. Pepsi called and said, all right, we 8-9 days in, we agree to meet. And we went, purchased New York, chairman of our board, Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, and Carol Wallace, who's a special advisor to us on finance, and laid out to them that one, we don't care what you call it, DEI, IED. Y'all are gonna keep your commitments in terms of the black community. And that means we don't want special privilege, but we do not want to be specially excluded. This is not about we don't want merit. We feel if our people are at the table, we can beat anybody on merit in many cases. So we want from employment to your board, to how you deal with marketing, to who does your financial investment. We want to go across the board with that. Otherwise, if you don't want to deal with the question of diversity in how you do your business, then don't deal with diversity in your consumer base, because you don't believe in diversity. So we just will try to remove all the dollars we can from buying your stuff. In fact, I told the chairman, maybe the chairman of the board, maybe the CEO, I said, in fact, I learned that not from growing up civil rights, I learned that from Donald Trump. I said, what do you mean? I said, Donald Trump said he's gonna redo tariffs, that if he doesn't get what he wants for the country, they were gonna raise the tariff. I'm doing the black tariff reverse. If we don't get what we want, I mean, y'all can't be for Trump and tariff and not be for us in the African American community with a tariff. Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited too. Turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you. And if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live. 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
Traveling around the country, talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on.
Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go on our message page at live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. Tricia says the Heritage Foundation got the executive order printer firing on all cylinders. She's sending that to Bruce Turner. She's right about that. Tanquace Wimberly, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, says, I hope 47 respect President Zelensky like he did his Russian best friend. Yeah, well, we gonna see. It seemed like they had a pretty tame press thing together, but we'll see what happens in the meeting. And we'll see. Lives at stake, and I hope that they can do the right thing. Let's go to Brian in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Brian, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton on Hot Button Monday.
My buttons are burning, Rev. So thank you for providing this amazing, earth-shattering, keeping it real program. You keep it realer than anyone doing anything similar, and you are a blessing.
Sir, I have Antoine Seward for you.
Thank both Miss Eunice and Demetrius for starting the show with their wisdom. Rev, I have one main issue regarding a political conflict and a question about that, and then a closing invitation. So if I'm ever too long-winded, don't hesitate to shut me up, because I do not want to take up too much space on this sacred platform. First, before going there, I just want to say, I don't know if you saw it, but we should roll the tape back to Trump's inaugural address. Did you ever hear it, Rev?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so he acknowledged that it was MLK Day and said that he was committing to realizing the dream. So let's have the King family, not the niece, the Mary Trump of the King family, but the actual children of the King, hold him to that. How about that?
Yeah, well, we definitely are going to address that at the march. Martin III and his wife and Dr. King's only grandchild is going to help me lead the march. You're absolutely right. I think that they know the King dream and accountability better than anyone. And it was interesting when Trump was first elected in 16 and would meet with people. Martin wouldn't met with him. I wouldn't even meet with him. He called me. Trump called me. I said, no, I'm not doing the photo op because I know you 30 years and I know it's an angle. No, come on, Alan. I wouldn't do it. Martin said, I got to give him a chance. Steve Harvey. And he met with all of them and did nothing. None of what he promised. And I'm surprised he didn't call them names, but it'd be interesting. I will definitely want Martin to address that at the march on Thursday week.
Thank you. I just wanted to say also that my wife and I, of course, made our pilgrimage to the House of Justice rally this Saturday, where I met you, and the towering excellence of your flock from Reverend Kim and her St. John's Baptist congregates, who we were lucky enough to sit by, as well as Mayor Rodney, and to your brilliant AV extraordinaire, Daniel, who honored me with an interview, and the astounding kindness and love that we received from your community just deepened and entrenched my resolve to truth and justice and reminded me of a moment I'd like to share with you from my youth, Rev.
Okay.
I was a teenage DJ at a top 40 radio station in Florida working on Thanksgiving in 1989, and a black reverend from a tiny gospel station, an AM gospel station just down the hall, noticed that I had no meal, and he walked in with a full plate of food, and that was the first time I ever tasted love. That was the best Thanksgiving dinner I ever had.
Wow.
And that spirit of care, Rev, has been a constant through my life from the black community, people who have shown me, defended me, and lifted me up when I was bullied at every job I've ever had. The people with the least reason to care about me, given my complexion, have always been black. And it made me regret my fear for ever stepping inside your House of Justice when I lived in New York a decade ago. I never imagined that I'd not just be invited, but welcomed with such love. So I'm so honored. Thank you for that. And that's
I was very happy to meet you and your wife. For people that have never been to our Saturday rallies, at the end of the rally, I stay and shake hands with everybody that attended the rally, sometime 200, 250 people. And then we're on the airwaves, about 50,000 or so, because we're live on Impact TV and on radio. But go ahead, I'm Brian. Go ahead and finish what you wanted to share with us today.
This is just the issue, the crux of my call regarding political conflict. For years, I have watched and engaged in and supported white left-wing media that dismissed the wisdom of black voters and brushed off rejection of Bernie Sanders within especially the elder black community. And when I started creating content about 5 years ago, when I started realizing all of this, and I started exposing Bernie's associations and affiliations, from Tulsi Gabbard to Breonna Joy Gray, from Susan Sarandon to Nina Turner, I have been dogpiled and smeared as an establishment shill and humiliated by his supporters, his troll farms. And I just wanted to say, Rev, that is all happening again. I've brought this up before on your show. It's not Bernie now, it's Mom Donnie's most passionate supporters doing it. These aren't just anonymous accounts on social media either, Rev. Oliver Willis of Daily Cause, who's followed by everybody from Maddow and Indivisible to George Conway and Heather Cox Richardson, has turned his career, Rev, as a progressive reporter into a 24-hour assault on Hakeem Jeffries. He has been calling for Leader Jeffries, Yvette Clarke, Greg Meeks, and Richie Torres to be primaried by more purely so-called anti-establishment progressives simply because they haven't yet endorsed Mamdani. And meanwhile, Rev, Not a word from any of them about Nan's March on Wall Street happening in just 12 days. And again, I like Richie Torres. I think Mamdani's war on the entrenched elite billionaire class is lovely, and I support it. But Mamdani, who backed the uncommitted movement instead of MVP Harris, and has just earned an endorsement from Spike Lee, and I'm sure he'll earn yours too, because what other options do we have? But he was, Spike and you were two of the most passionate supporters of Harris last year, and Mamdani's loudest supporters are the same trolls who spent years disrespecting John Lewis, Maxine Waters, and Jim Clyburn for not being progressive enough. So this is my question, Rev. How can we keep our coalition strong when these toxic folks and their friends with major followings wage social media dogpile campaigns against black leaders they call the establishment? And can we demand accountability from Mamdani or anyone seeking your endorsement when they've never confronted their failure to reckon with endorsing the uncommitted movement instead of Harris, and failing to address their toxic supporters? And could you answer that, Rev?
I think that you raised an excellent question. I think that, one, they do more harm to Mamdani than they do good, because some of us who've had to struggle to even be in the political arena, voting, running, and all, are not going to be intimidated by anybody to ram somebody down our throat without us being satisfied that's who we want to support. The arrogance of some of them are equal to the arrogance of the people on the right with Trump. If you can sit down and reason together, I've met with Mamdani. I'm impressed with him, leaning that way. But I told him, you can't have your people acting like somebody has to do something when we've struggled to get everything we got, and he understands that. When Bernie Sanders was running in 2020, and I took Bernie Sanders to Sylvia's restaurant in Harlem and a lot of press there,
yes.
I told him sitting there, I said, my problem, Bernie, with you is that you in your late 70s, he's 83 now, but he was in his late 70s, and you come from Brooklyn. I never saw you at a civil rights rally or march in Brooklyn where they were killing us in Howard Beach and Bensonhurst. So when did you become this progressive? Go. He says, well, and all I'm saying is they want to hold everybody accountable, but they don't want to be accountable themselves. When I was beginning to become known in New York, the biggest critics I had was the progressives and the Village Voice crowd, because they wanted to control the black movement. And we're not looking for better slave masters. We're looking for freedom. And I think that it is their right and our right to hold Hakeem and Greg Meeks, and Greg Meeks was on the show last night, accountable. But we also have the right to say, but we want them for these reasons, and we want Mamdani for these reasons, and if they can come together. But if you're going to start beating up on me, you ain't going to make me fight back, and you may not want that fight, because I don't know no stopping when I get to fighting. And I think you're right. It is a contradiction to call yourself a progressive and you tear up the progressive coalition because you want to be a purist, that you want it your way or no way. And my point is that we cannot afford that, and you should not feel bad about that at all, Brian. You're right. And in fact, you got a home, you with Nan and all of us now. And the mayor just acknowledged that you called him the mayor. So don't worry about who you don't have. Worry about who you do have. We all together now. You and your wife found a home. Let me take my break. Good to hear you. Keep coming, Brian. Let's take our break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Mayor Rodney Jones got a shout out from Philly today. We'll be right back. Antoine Seawright is coming to the mound. He's going to be pitching next, joining me when we be right back. Keeping it real. Be right back. Keeping it real.
400 years later, it's time to do some assessing where we came from. While Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, Mississippi take the hits, the real trade market for commerce and cotton was New York, the port of New York. As a matter of fact, Joe, the first state to end slavery was Vermont. It was all the way up the coast. The big shipbuilders became rich off of our enslavement. Say our people are not slaves, they are our ancestors. They became slaves, the person, they're our ancestors, they're our foreparents. The money is made off of the commodity. We were the commodity in the commodity exchange. And they would import Africans, they export cotton and tobacco. And they built the whole economic system around Wall Street. Africans, because they feared the Indians would attack the Dutch, built a wall on Wall Street. That's where they named it Wall Street. It's the Africans, with logs and trees, they built a wall around Wall Street, keep the Indians from attacking the Dutch. So Wall Street was named after us. There's a burial ground on Wall Street, which we should all visit. Those are our foreparents. At some point, they moved us to the other end of Manhattan, which is Harlem. So we are on the same island as Manhattan. Manhattan, Harlem, Wall Street, on the same island. Harlem is right down the road from Wall Street. That's interesting that most of our leaders who argued different cases never quite got to march on Wall Street.
That was Reverend Jesse Jackson speaking at National Action Network's House of Justice in 2020, saying that we ignored dramatizing, putting the spotlight on the economic inequalities, the economic issues of this country by never having marched on Wall Street en masse. Well, on August 28th, 5 years later, we're going to do just that. Because with this big, beautiful bill, which is a big, ugly bill that cuts Medicaid and SNAP, with the ending of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and initiatives in the private sector, which gives blacks and others jobs, contracts for businesses, making sure we make the C-suite based on our merit and not excluded because we didn't have the family background in a given place, whether it be academic or business. The people that benefited from that are the ones on Wall Street that deal with the stock markets, that deal with the Dow Jones, that deal with making trade off of the decisions of those that supported the Trump initiatives in this area. So we are not this year going to Washington on the anniversary of the March on Washington. On the anniversary of the March on Washington, we're going to Wall Street. And Reverend Jackson, we're going to do what you said. Thousands of us are going to nonviolently but firmly come and say that the dream cannot be deferred by tax cuts for the rich and cutting those out that need food assistance, that need support with health care and other economic policies that have choked the middle class and the poor. August 28, 2025, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, get the details. Meet us 10 a.m. at the African Burial Ground and be ready to march. Buses are coming from all over the country. Go to that website or call 1-877-626-4651. No justice, no peace. Look at the story. We celebrated Good Friday and Easter just a couple of weeks ago. Well, there's a message in that. I heard a preacher talk about this the other week. The thing that people forget, I want you to keep this in mind, is they crucified Jesus. Those of us that are Christian believe they hung him on a cross, maligned him, mocked him. Wasn't enough to nail him. They mocked him, saying, if you be the king of the Jews, step down and deliver yourself. Mocked him. Ridiculed him. He wanted water, they gave him vinegar. Crowned him with a crown of thorns. When they should be giving you your celebratory, they're going to give you some attacks. But the end of the story was they went and laid him in Joseph's tomb. Didn't even have a family tomb. Didn't have insurance like some of us. Laid him in a borrowed tomb. But the third morning, this is the story they tell. The third morning, when they came to where they laid him, he wasn't there. My message is to you today that don't let them catch you where they laid you. They may kill your name. They may crucify your character. They may tell you you are nothing from nowhere, but when they come to where they laid you, let you be gone on to somewhere else. I've been called everything but a child of God. They said I'd be nothing going nowhere. They castigated us. They called us troublemakers. They called us loudmouth. And when they came to see me go to jail, I wasn't there. They can catch me on MSNBC now. They can catch me leading marches now. I serve a God that not only will go through the crucifixion, but will bring you through the resurrection. We're going to resurrect in the city. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. This is our time.
Rev, you know, you were right there
From the beginning.
with the stuff that
Yep.
was going on in Brooklyn at that time, at Howard Beach. You were right there.
He had in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, and I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. So we've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene with yourself,
Yep.
Bobby Seale.
Right. Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah.
Denzel was on the set.
Now, let me ask a question.
Yep.
What was your weight on that scene?
I probably about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair back.
And you had the head on.
Yeah, it was
Denzel, yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut, so we went like this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Only Spike could have done that.
It's my brother right here.
My baby.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
BK. Let me say this on our weekend assignment about really confronting and stopping your laziness and mine. You have to stop being around lazy friends, lazy people, because lazy people normalizes your laziness. They make you settle for less than what you can do and be. They say, well, you don't need to do that. You all right, you good. Because they don't want to press their way. They encourage. I'm your host. Really, I'm Sharpton. I'm bringing on answer. Let me answer on a message page. Tricia says, did you hear they're changing MSNBC's name to MS Now? My source, News Opinion World, is the next step is to dismantle the channel. I only watch Reverend Al, Rachel, and Lawrence. And Bruce Turner says, I'm waiting to see if they mess with the Rev. Let me say that we were told they were changing the name because of the spinoff from NBC it's NBC still owns a part of it, but it's a new company, and that everything is going to remain the same. I talked to the president as late as last night. They're not changing programming at all. We'll be there, and that's why I encourage you to always watch the show, because the ratings. I don't have no illusions. It is not the way they like the way I dress. The ratings is what keep us viable, and especially with a new company. But I am appreciative of your concern. All right, we're joined now, as we are every Monday to kick off the week, by Democratic strategist and founder and CEO of Blueprint Strategies LLC, Antoine C. How you doing? Let me say this on our weekend assignment about really confronting and stopping your laziness and mine. You have to stop being around lazy friends, lazy people, because lazy people normalizes your laziness. They make you settle for less than what you can do and be. They say, well, you don't need to do that. You all right, you good. Because they don't want to press their way. They encourage you not to press your way. And then some are just snakes, want to hold you back, envious, jealous. They're mediocre, so they want you to stay that way. Let me tell you how you handle snakes, though. Don't fight them. You don't kill snakes with kindness. You kill them with distance. Let them starve to death. Just get away from them. Snakes need you close in order to bite. Just get your distance from snakes. And realize that God doesn't require that you know it all. He only requires you have the faith to take the next step knowing He knows. The same New York has a different process. We are able to do whatever we need to do and whatever process we face as long as we understand that. And I think that that's important. Now, what Governor Newsom of California said is that they would move in trying to add what it is they need to add to make more districts in California to offset the chicanery in Texas once Texas moves. And that's what he's waiting to see. If that happens this week, it gives them mobilizing time on September 6th. So every fight, you're going to have a counter fight. And, you know, people want a perfect thing. I thought if we threw one right hook, he'd fall down. No, you won't make a good boxer. Every punch you throw, they're going to fire back, which is why you train offense and defense. And I think that we can be successful. No, they definitely are now trying to change it to non-census years. It is a move of desperation because they know that if the situation remains the way it is likely they lose the House. But if we do our organizing in alternate states, like California, like New York, and others governors that have come forward, we will be able to offset it. All we have to do is organize. That's why mobilizing and organizing is so important, and staying in tune, because this is where the rubber meets the road. And you cannot do it with just some temporary anger. They do not care you angry. In fact, they enjoy when they get us angry. What they care about is our being organized. And I think that if we can organize rapidly, that'll be what matters to them. Let me raise also this to you, Antoine. The fallout in terms of the occupying of Washington, D.C. By the president, sending in National Guard. Now you got three other white majority states saying they'll send in National Guard. And, you know, we have an Office of NAN in Washington, and Ebony Riley, our senior vice president, runs that office, says the checkpoints are absolutely horrendous, and that they are not even sending the guards to the wards that have had the crime problems. They're sending the guards, National Guard, to the mall, to where the statues are and all of that, or to Georgetown, which does not have as high a crime problem. Now, crime is down in Washington, but where it is up, that is not where they're sending the National Guard. And I was on Morning Joe this morning where we showed this film where they physically abused this grocery delivery guy for no reason. And give me the political fallout of this.
Well, I think there are a couple.
Hold on 1 minute, just a minute. Let me take the break so you got time to break it down. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. See right. Be right back.
Of reference. 400 years later, it's time to do some assessing where we came from. While Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, and Mississippi take the hits, the real trade market for commerce and cotton was New York, the port of New York. As a matter of fact, Joe, the first state to end slavery was Vermont. It was all the way up the coast. The big shipbuilders became rich off of our enslavement. Say our people are not slaves. They are ancestors. They may be slaves to the person, they're our ancestors, they're our foreparents. The money is made off of the commodity. We were the commodity in the commodity exchange. And they would import Africans. They export cotton and tobacco. And they built the whole economic system around Wall Street. Africans, because they feared the Indians would attack the Dutch, built a wall on Wall Street. That's what they named it, Wall Street. It's the Africans, with logs and trees, they built a wall around Wall Street, keep the Indians from attacking the Dutch. So Wall Street was named after us. There's a burial ground on Wall Street, which we should all visit. Those are our foreparents. At some point, they moved us to the other end of Manhattan, which is Harlem. So we are on the same island as Manhattan. Manhattan, Harlem, Wall Street, on the same island. Harlem is right down the road from Wall Street. That's interesting that most of our leaders who argued different cases never quite got to march on Wall Street.
That was Reverend Jesse Jackson speaking at National Action Network's House of Justice in 2020, saying that we'd ignored dramatizing, putting the spotlight on the economic inequalities, the economic issues of this country by never having marched on Wall Street en masse. Well, on August 28th, 5 years later, we're going to do just that. Because with this big, beautiful bill, which is a big, ugly bill that cuts Medicaid and SNAP, with the ending of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and initiatives in the private sector, which gives blacks and others jobs, contracts for businesses, making sure we make the C-suite based on our merit and not excluded because we didn't have the family background in a given place, whether it be academic or business. The people that benefited from that are the ones on Wall Street that deal with the stock markets, that deal with the Dow Jones, that deal with making trade off of the decisions of those that supported the Trump initiatives in this area. So we are not this year going to Washington on the anniversary of the March on Washington. On the anniversary of the March on Washington, we're going to Wall Street. And Reverend Jackson, we're going to do what you said. Thousands of us are going to nonviolently but firmly come and say that the dream cannot be deferred by tax cuts for the rich and cutting those out that need food assistance, that need support with health care and other economic policies that have choked the middle class and the poor. August 28th, 2025, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, get the details. Meet us 10 a.m. at the African Burial Ground and be ready to march. Buses are coming from all over the country. Go to that website or call 1-877-626-4651. No justice, no peace.
I want to ask you a question, and that is, what is in your life's blueprint? This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And whenever a building is constructed, you usually have an architect who draws a blueprint. And that blueprint serves as the pattern, as the guide, as the model for those who are to build the building. And a building is not well erected without a good, sound, and solid blueprint. Now each of you is in the process of building the structure of your lives. And the question is whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton.
I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, twitter.com, The Rev Al, or go to live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. Go to the message board and send me a message, and we'll read as many as we can on the air. James Thomas on the message board saying that I just hope that Sherrod Brown grows a pair and stop being scared of his own shadow. He's glad he's running and hopes he wins. And I think Sherrod Brown is going to give some fight this time, but we'll be watching that one. That would be a big win if Sherrod Brown, Democrat, takes that seat back. Let me say by way of announcements, Politics Nation, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, every Saturday and Sunday. And we stacked it up for you this weekend. We had everybody that you needed to hear from. We had Spike Lee on, not only talking about his film, but talking about how he views the politics of today, including what's going on with New York and other cities being threatened with the Trump National Guard takeover. We had Robert Smith on, arguably one of the 3 top wealthy black businessmen in the country, but talk about how he's put out a book on the principles of Dr. King and how that guided him toward being a billionaire. We had on members of Congress and talking about we had one of the Texas legislators on that was still outside of Texas. Every week, we make sure I personally get into who we want on and make calls. If the staff at Politics Nation can't get them, I get them. I do not want to waste your time. So watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton every Saturday and Sunday, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. I guess we're going to call it MS Now. Now, the same time, same stations. You're in the New York area, the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut vicinity. Meet me at the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice in Harlem. You heard Brian talk about in the first hour. He and his wife was there from Philly, some people there from Houston. Be a part of energizing and connecting. Nothing like it, no feeling like it. House of Justice every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'm there, and I'm looking forward to you being there. I'll be there this Saturday, and then doing my show, 5 o'clock, then flying to Washington. We'll preach at Howard University, Rankin Chapel on Sunday morning, and then fly back do my show. So I'm busy. I don't know why y'all got all this. I never understood how people tired and don't do nothing. Maybe they tired of doing nothing. And lastly, the march. I'm looking at the sign-ups on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. People are signing up. We got buses leaving from all over the country. We're adding buses. People want to be part of the march on Wall Street. Members of the Congressional Black Caucus, you heard Al Green on this show Friday saying he's coming, getting other caucus members to come. We need to hear from them, and Wall Street needs to hear as we're standing there. They are the ones that are financing anti-DEI, that are financing these voter suppression moves, and they need to be exposed. So that's why Martin III and I said, no, every 5 years we commemorate the State of the Dream. It's the anniversary of the August 28th is the day his father made the dream speech. But this year, those that are deferring the dream are on Wall Street. And that's why we're going there. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net to sign up, or you can call the toll-free number right now. We have people at the phones waiting for your call, 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651. Antoine, as we were going to break, I was asking you about this whole fight around voting, and you were getting ready to respond.
Well, we were talking about the D.C. Bait and switch strategy that we see from the Trump administration in order to bait us into having a discussion about public safety and about policing and crime. The fact of the matter is violent crimes are down in D.C. There's not a crime-free city in the world, Democrat, Republican, black, brown, or white, or anything in between. But what the president wants to do is, one, test drive this narrative about police manipulation and over-policing. But two, he also wants to insist that African-American mayors in predominantly black cities have these crime problems, and they want to colorize crime or put color on crime. The fact of the matter is, if the president was serious about fighting crime in D.C. or anywhere in the country, he would have invited mayors from across the country to have a discussion with them in the White House, ask what they need, including the mayor of D.C., where he could have easily picked up the phone and asked her what her law enforcement needs are, not cutting her budget. The second thing he could have done is built on what Joe Biden and the Democrats did 4 years ago when we did the Safer in Communities Act, which is a large part and reason why violent crimes are down across the country. So the president wants to draw a political discussion about race, crime, and public safety, but we cannot get baited into this conversation and switch the narrative. Democrats can be pro-public safety but anti-over-policing, and we cannot afford to not say that out loud, and nor can we take our foot off the gas about affordability in America, because that's where the real conversation is, and that's where the president is failing the American people.
All right, let's go to Ray in Cincinnati, Ohio. Ray. I don't hear Ray.
Oh, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
I hear you now, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Rev, thanks for taking my call. I listened to your intro when you first came on, and basically you were saying how the people back then, they did more with less back then than we're doing now. I look at the entertainers, the sports people. They're making millions and millions and multi-millions of dollars, and a lot of them are Republicans. And what black folks went through back in the late 1800s and really going all the way back in the 1920s and 30s, I asked myself, how are you a Republican supporting a racist that wants to put you back in chains? And so I just shake my head, Reb, and you know a lot of these entertainers, they're Republicans.
And the thing that gets me, I'm gonna let you finish, but Ray, since you brought it up, the thing that gets me is they all play the Republican thing that I got to get my bag of money, and then they catch a case and they call people like me to stand up for them. And I say, well, first of all, you ain't stood up for us. Second of all, what happened to you and your Republican buddies? I mean, it is really, really, it is painful to watch people destroy themselves. Because when I was coming along, and Ray, you may be old enough to know this, we had artists that not only stood for something, they lasted. Most of these guys are 2 or 3 years acts and they're over with. Careers don't last. I mean, James Brown, Aretha, and them lasted 30, 40 years. And if you make a hit at 25 and only got 2 years, what you gonna do the rest of your life?
Yeah, Rev, and I was going to say that, and a lot of them are worrying about their next contract. They're worrying about their endorsements. But let me ask you this. Is it fair to ask 20-something-year-olds who have came from nothing to actually get on board? Maybe they weren't taught what it was like growing up in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s.
Well, I think it is fair. I think, you know why I think it's fair? And Antoine can also address this. He's younger than both of us. But the reason I think it's fair is Jackie Robinson did it, and he had less rights than they had. And he stood up. Jackie Robinson refused to get in the back of the bus when he was in the service before Rosa Parks. Bill Russell stood up in the 50s and the 60s. Muhammad Ali gave up his title. So I don't have this empathy that, well, you know, they're young. Everybody was young. And there is no qualitative difference between a old Uncle Tom and a young Uncle Tom. It's just that a young Uncle Tom just uses more modern vernacular. But, I mean, if you going to say to me, Reb, I got to do this because I got to get paid, then you're telling me you're a sellout. And you can be that. But own it. Admit it to yourself, I am a sellout. And in order for me to make this money, I'm going to have to be against my community. That's your decision. Live by it. Because there are those of us that live by not doing that. You know, when I was young and was around James Brown, all of these guys, everybody said, man, Rev, you can lead a movement and stuff, promote, you Red Don King and all that. I decided not to go that route. So I don't have anybody no past with me that you decided not to do that. You don't have to become a leader, but you can do the right thing or at least not endorse the wrong thing. I don't have no exception for that. I don't want everybody to lead a march. I don't want everybody to, you know, holler and jump up and down like we do. But to come out and endorse people that you know are against us, you step in the ring, you're going to get hit. And it's justified. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. And I want to hear your take on that when we come back, Antoine. Keeping it real. Sharpton. See right. Be right back. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it. seem excited. I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited to turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you, and if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me, and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They called me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Let me say this on our weekend assignment about really confronting and stopping your laziness and mine. You have to stop being around lazy friends, lazy people, because lazy people normalizes your laziness. They make you settle for less than what you can do and be. They say, well, you don't need to do that. You all right, you good. Because they don't want to press their way. They encourage you not to press your way. And then some are just snakes, want to hold you back, envious, jealous. They're mediocre, so they want you to stay that way. Let me tell you how you handle snakes, though. Don't fight them. You don't kill snakes with kindness. You kill them with distance. Let them starve to death. Just get away from them. Snakes need you close in order to bite. Just get your distance from snakes. And realize that God doesn't require that you know it all. He only requires you have the faith to take the next step knowing he knows it all. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Antoine, we went off talking about how some of the younger artists, new artists, have said they've got to get paid, they got to get the bag rather than take a stand. And one of the callers raised, and my position is, which I want you to respond to the caller and me, is even if they don't want to take a stand, they can't ask for immunity when they take a stand against us. It's too bad enough to me if you don't want to stand up for your consumers, because we're the ones that download your live stream stuff, buy your records, buy the tickets to your concerts. Don't want to stand up for us, that's bad enough. But then you're going to go and be with somebody that is adamantly against us. That's what I take issue with. What is your view on this?
Their communities fall. And in order for your community to stand up, you have to stand up. And I'm very pro-black, as you know. But what I'm anti is black convenience. And you can't be black convenient when your community is not only dependent on you, but is looking up to you, and you are a centerpiece that the community needs, not just wants, but needs. I take LeBron James, I take any of those folks who stepped out of their comfort zone and got involved in elections. They didn't have to do that, but when they chose to do that, not only did it build on a generation of leaders before them who did that, but it also sparked a message and sent the message across the country to white and black folks, Democrats and Republicans, that we are not just going to shut up and dribble. We're not just going to play our sports. We are going to do things that matter to the constituencies we serve. And when you're in sports, when you're in entertainment, you have worldwide constituencies that have worldwide impact. When the economy is not doing well, that's going to impact these artists and these entertainers and so forth too. And they have to understand that you can get your bag but not sell out your people.
That's exactly right. Let's go to Tommy in Chicago, WVON. Tommy?
Pleasant afternoon. A pleasant afternoon to two of my most favorite people. And hey, Rev, no hollering today. No emotions today. Because guess what? If you didn't know, now you know. Because Mr. C, yourself, all the contributors, all of the years, been telling individuals, what did they say? You was crying wolf. Reverend Al, go sit down. We don't need you no more. Look where we at now. And now they running around here acting like they brand new. Ain't nothing brand new about none of this. And watch this. Keep in mind, people, remember, all of this started when Jeffrey Epstein started talking from the dead and the main witness conveniently committed suicide, and all of a sudden sentences started getting commuted. People who got 22 years ended up in a resort. And then when that didn't work, then it was baby oil out of P. Diddy, an attempted assassination of R. Kelly. When that didn't work, then it was let's put Obama in jail, let's put his wife in jail. When that didn't work, let's take Colbert off of the air. When that didn't work, then let's go after Harris and stuff. And now when all of that didn't work, Mr. C. White, guess where we're at now, people? Hold on, wait for it. Oh, it's martial law in Washington, D.C. The colored people up there are just out of control. Well, wait a minute. If it's law and order, shouldn't we be starting at Pennsylvania Avenue, baby? I ain't never popped so much popcorn in all my life sitting back watching this. And here's why I want to close with, Rev, because I don't even want to waste it. It ain't nothing to even talk about. Because right about now, it's the perfect storm. And you know what the perfect storm is? We get to sit back and watch all of the rats. And all we have to do is just be still. We, the people, in order to form a better government, have been hoodwinked, run amok. Who does that sound like, Rev? The same individual that was gunned down by his own, and when he came to an understanding. See, it's your stinking thinking, your no vote, your rabbit hole that you went down, your personal experience that made it. Reverend Al Sharpton didn't let me talk for 1,000 minutes saying nothing. Just any and that. And guess what? I close with this. You know where I got my inspiration from? You know where I get my encouragement from? I went to the DuSable Museum, and there was this man called Reverend Al Sharpton with the first book he made. And when I came up there and you asked, well, what's the name to put in here? And I said, Tommy. Red was the one who said, hold up, Tommy, put him over here to the side. And I took a picture with you on that day.
All
and
right.
Now I'm getting emotional.
Wow.
Watch this, Rev.
I did not remember that.
Emotional.
I did not remember that.
Hey, Rev, that's how far. Hey, Rev.
That's a long time ago.
I was the same Negro that called you on the phone. I'm going to give Reverend Al a piece of my mind, Mr. C, right? Follow along with me. I'm going to tell Reverend Al Sharpton, I get a chance to talk to one of these uppity individuals and stuff. And you know what Reverend Al Sharpton said to me, people, as I close? Son, what are you involved in? Can you tell me this or can you tell me that? Well, when you get a clue, call me back. And guess what? Not only did I call him back, I went into the seminary and I want to leave America with this. Pick me up when I'm down. Set my feet on solid ground. And then guess what will happen next? I will be able to see brighter days because somebody died that I could have this moment to cry out and say, I am somebody. Black, 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 black. Choke on it. Goodbye.
Tommy. All right. Tommy is always lit, as they say, but I did not know that was maybe my first book was about 96. and we went to DeSauer. He's right. That's wow, long time ago. I've written 5 books. The first one, yeah, Go Tell Pharaoh. Let's go to Bertha in Cleveland, Ohio, WERE. Bertha, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Seawright.
Good afternoon, Mr. Seawright and Reverend Sharpton.
Good afternoon.
I have a few concerns I would like to state, and thanks for taking my call. Trump is a piece of garbage. He constantly criticizes President Biden for whatever, and he cannot measure to Biden's shoes. He wants to now stop. He's talking about stopping the mail-in ballots. He wants to control that. Recently, he was just on that. Our governor, Ohio's governor, had just sent troops over to Washington to support Trump. I had a little respect for him, but now I have no respect for him because he is, along with those who are supporting the Trump. I call it the Trumpican instead of the Democrats and I call it the Trumpican Party. Right now, he's trying to offset the Epstein files, and I feel that the black mayors and the black governors that he is constantly after, they need to file a suit because this is nothing but racism. He's going to take these governors and they all are black. Something's wrong with that. They need to file a lawsuit against him for racism because this is nothing but racism. Now, and those who are for him, like the blacks are for him, and those that's the Republican Party. This is a different party. They're flunkies for Trump. They are similar to like slave masters as far as I'm concerned. I just feel that we have to constantly keep along with these Epstein files. Don't pull them out. Now they want to put the Epstein files and extract Trump from being. Don't say anything about Trump. Well, if you don't say anything, show the pictures. My mother used to say, I can show you better than I can tell you. Show the pictures. We need to keep that on. Keep that on the Epstein files. Epstein files. At the same time, this is something that we need to pray about, Reverend Sharpton, because this is evil. This is completely evil, and I'm hoping and praying that the president of Ukraine will stick to his guns and not go along with what Biden and Putin is trying to do, because this is really, it's terrible. And I'm going to leave now. Frank say he's the best side. I'm Bertha from the right side.
All right, Bertha. Antoine, as she was talking, I'm looking. I keep the TV on in the here where we do the show, and the presidents of heads of states of all the European countries around the table with Zelensky and Trump. What is what does Trump need to do to call this a victory?
Well, for him, it's just dragging out the conversation. I think the more he drags out the conversation, the more he can claim victory and say he's working on it. The challenge is he made the American people a promise that on day one he would end the war. The second thing is he gave Putin the biggest stage that Putin has had probably in my generation by inviting him to the United States and letting Putin have a narrative without even bringing anything to the table. And now Trump's comments about Zelensky could end the war, it takes the power of negotiating out of Ukraine's hands and put everything solely in the hands of Putin. That's scary because we all know this is just a power grab by Putin, a power grab exercise for the West. And if he can invade Ukraine and they see on any ground or any territory in Ukraine, that's dangerous for what that means in the future. That means Putin will try to invade every other little country and try to continue to gain ground. And that's why this is so dangerous. And that's why I've said on TV just last week, this has implications for the world for the next 10 to 20 to 30, 40 years.
Absolutely. And I think that people need to know what is at stake in this and be clear about it. It will, let me tell you something, what happens in Ukraine and Gaza, either one of them or both of them, could kick off currents that will be making us tremble all over the world. And to have someone as inept and narcissistic as Trump being in the middle of this, we ought to be as nervous as we could be, because the man just is not able to handle anything other than being flattered, and he'll go with the flattery or with the opulence. If somebody look like they got money, he wants to be their buddy. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. More of you on the phones, 1-877-532-5797, Sharpton. See right. Be right back. I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talent in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones. And too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters who both have come into their home or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughters started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others. The way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself. One year ago and change, 67 weeks ago, we started marching every Thursday, am I right, on the offices of Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman was the architect of ending DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. He started it. I want to give a little history because a lot of people get Negroitis and get confusion. I don't even mind your ego. Everybody need one, but you don't have to become contrary and duplicitous. We got to have integrity even among those with ego. So we started when they first came out against DEI. Now Ackman and them started it going at Harvard University, forcing out the first black woman and first black president of Harvard. We went to his office and been going 67 weeks. I went first 10 to 12 weeks. And this brother, stand up, Reverend Ron McHenry, coordinator House of Justice. This brother has been there every week. Many of you here in the audience have marched every week. So we didn't just get in this. We were in it the day they came at Claudine got. Last year's convention, we dealt with DEI. This year we said that we're going at these corporations that had come out against DEI. Many of you, most of y'all I'm looking at was at the convention. And we hit Pepsi. Pepsi called and said, all right, we 8-9 days in, we agree to meet. And we went, purchased New York. Chairman of our board, Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, and Carol Wallace, who's a special advisor to us on finance, and laid out to them that one, we don't care what you call it, DEI, IED. Y'all are gonna keep your commitments in terms of the black community. And that means we don't want special privilege, but we do not want to be specially excluded. This is not about we don't want merit. We feel if our people are at the table, we can beat anybody on merit in many cases. So we want from employment to your board, to how you deal with marketing, to you, who does your financial investment. We want to go across the board with.
You ready, sir?
Yeah.
You're live.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Let's go back to the phone. Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Let's go to Andre J. in Chicago. Andre?
Hey, good morning. I'm sorry. I'm behind the 8 ball. Good afternoon to you, Reverend Sharpton. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Seawright. You know, non-traditional times call for non-traditional behavior. And I'm sitting here looking at Ketanji Brown Jackson, Elena Kagan, and Sonia Sotomayor on the Supreme Court that's not speaking out against the threat to democracy and voting rights. Here we have Amy Cody Bryant, who's adopted several black children, had them for a while. She won't even speak up for their right to exist and their right to vote. And so it's time for them to say something. To me, it's not just enough to write a dissent. How many people hears about a dissent and know that they dissented? It's time for for them to be vocal, because these are non-traditional times with Donald Trump and all the entry calls for non-traditional behavior. They need to say something. They need to speak out. It's been proven that this Supreme Court don't care nothing about our Constitution. They had Alito with his wife had a flag hanging up and down. They've had Clarence Thomas out doing these things. So why is it that Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, why are they trying to walk a fine line? The other Supreme Court justices, they done said the heck with the people, the heck with the Constitution, and the heck with the Supreme Court. They out there representing their own interests and the Federalist Society interests. So it's time for those three liberal justices that Obama and Biden appointed, for them to speak up, because they owe the people and they owe the ones that appointed them. That's what bothers me.
Seawright, you want to respond to that?
Well, there's some rules and protocols that the court has to follow, and I know some say, well, the Republicans are not, so why can't we do what they do? But our homework is not graded the same. That's number one. And number two, I think when given the opportunity, the three Democratic justices have done more than their fair share of speaking up, including with their dissent. Now, at the end of the day, I think there's some responsibility on us as the voters, because when we had the chance to elect Secretary Clinton in 2016, where we could appoint three justices, those justices could have been African American. But going to Rev's point earlier about the country being divided and our party being divided, there were some in our party who would not endorse, would not support our candidate, and as a result, we got Donald Trump, and as a result, they've taken over the court. And so I think they've done what they can, but they are very limited in what they can and cannot do.
I think slow up, wait a minute, let us respond. I think that Andre J. and I are always usually on the same page, but I totally disagree with you on this. Totally, unequivocally, that they're not speaking up and that the others are. Let me tell you, you don't see Alito and Clarence Thomas and none of them going out speaking. They speak through their dissents or their agreements. And that is what Ketanji and them ought to do. Now, they also speaking at colleges, they've done things. So I think that we play into this thing because the right-wing media act like they're not saying nothing. I've heard Sotomayor, I've heard Ketanji, I've heard all Kagan, all speak in various forums. They're not on the road because they're justices, and neither are the conservatives on the road. So why are we asking them to do more than what the right wing is asking the right-wing judges to do. I totally disagree with you on this.
I understand what you're saying, Rev, and this is why we talk, because we make each other put on their thinking cap. So the speaker, you said, I wasn't aware that they had spoke out. Katanji,
Oh yeah,
to these colleges.
they've done for Katanji was just in Martha's Vineyard doing a forum. They've all spoke out. They're not going to rallies. They're judges, but neither is Alito. Neither is Judge Roberts.
Okay.
So I think that is not their job. One of the things that I think that we have learned in our maturity in our community is everybody got different roles. I used to have to say, Antoine, when Obama was in, people say to me, why ain't Obama out there? I said, because he's the president. The president can't lead a march on his own White House. That's our job. And I think that we need to embrace having put people in certain roles, let them play their roles, and we play ours. Obama needed us to raise the issues of Trayvon and Sherrod when they were messing with Miss Sherrod, and then Ferguson, so he could respond by getting Eric Holder to do certain things and getting the police panel together that put the cameras on police. He could not advocate to himself, but because we never had a black president, we had to go through a learning curve to understand that. And nobody works closer with congressional caucus members more than you, Antoine. There is a role. They can rally and speak more than a president, but they still have to legislate. And we should not expect them to agitate what they need to legislate. That's our job. And our job is to be able to know what to agitate that will lead toward legislation. We got more than one bullet now we can fire. And if everybody's trying to fire the same bullet, it will, in my opinion, make the progress that we have made obsolete, because everybody's trying to do the same thing. Antoine?
And Rev, I think you're right, and I think it's important to remember that you cannot govern if you do not win. And it all comes back to us winning elections and having people in place with our shared experiences, so these fights don't have to keep remaining the same fights over and over and over again. We've got to make progress, but also understand that progress is not permanent.
James Thomas is writing on the message board. Reverend Al Sotomayor told South Carolina that the stench of this court will last forever, and yet they didn't care. And that's my point. Unless you vote and take the majority back of the Supreme Court, put somebody in to make those appointments, they can go on tour all they want. They might as well be the opening act for Beyonce. What matters is what they do in the court. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. See right. Be right back.
This is an important notice to all.
Let me say this on our weekend assignment about really confronting and stopping your laziness and mine. You have to stop being around lazy friends, lazy people, because lazy people normalizes your laziness. They make you settle for less than what you can do and be. They say, well, you don't need to do that. You all right, you good. Because they don't want to press their way. They encourage you not to press your way. And then some are just snakes, want to hold you back, envious, jealous. They're mediocre, so they want you to stay that way. Let me tell you how you handle snakes, though. Don't fight them. You don't kill snakes with kindness. You kill them with distance. Let them starve to death. Just get away from them. Snakes need you close in order to bite. Just get your distance from snakes. And realize that God doesn't require that you know it all. He only requires you have the faith to take the next step knowing he knows it all. So get past being lazy and say, I'm going to make this effort. I'm going to make this move. I'm going to make this attempt. I'm going to take this step. And God will do the rest. That's what faith is. I was reading this passage this morning. It says, your friends think you're lucky. Your family thinks you're crazy. Your competition thinks you're a threat. And you know you're just someone who refuses to be small. You refuse to be mediocre. All of what everybody thinks of you, you know that you refuse to be less than what you can be. Others look at you as complicated. Don't let people complicate what you know is simple. You just refuse to be reduced to someone else's measure of you. That's why you got to get your lazy self up and be what you know you could be. You're not getting too old. You're not polished enough. You're not educated enough. You're not one that doesn't have enough connections or contacts. You're just lazy. All that stuff you don't have, you can get. It's within your reach. Now put it within your grasp. Stop telling yourself you're not confident of what you could do. When people with half your skills and a quarter of your talent have gone on to create big waves in life, if you look at them and you know you're more gifted than them, then what is your problem? You are looking for someone to come and drag you into success. You got to use what you have, which is, in my judgment, more skillful than others I've known in your area. Use that and believe in that, and your confidence will build up as you get going and start doing. And don't chase the spotlight. Sharpen your skills. Live in your purpose. And you'll get so good the spotlight will be chasing you. Be so good they can't help but talk about you and put the spotlight on you. You don't get your energy from chasing the spotlight. You get your energy by chasing your purpose. The spotlight and other adulation will come with it. Have a great day.
I want to ask you a question, and that is, what is in your life's blueprint? This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And whenever a building is constructed, you usually have an architect who draws a blueprint. And that blueprint serves as the pattern, as the guide, as the model for those who are to build the building. And a building is not well erected without a good, sound, and solid blueprint. Now each of you is in the process of building the structure of your lives. And the question is, whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity.
I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Don't forget Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, 5 p.m. Eastern Time every Saturday and Sunday. And I'm already working on this weekend show. Certainly you in the New York tri-state area, meet me at the House of Justice in Harlem, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue, Saturday morning rally. I'll be there this Saturday. It is the Saturday before the big march on Wall Street. I need you to be there. And then we're going as an organization to the funeral services of the late, great Lloyd Williams, lifetime member of NAN and chair of the Harlem Chamber of Commerce. Funeral will be on Saturday after the rally at Salem United Methodist Church. You that have not signed up, I just heard from Kentucky, they need 2 more buses. Pete, if you're not signed up, sign up, find out whatever information you need. Many people going to fly in on their own, but this is the first major march, black-led, since Trump has been in office. I supported all the marches that's happened, from No More Kings to even this weekend. But this is sponsored and called by Martin III and me, National Action Network, National Urban League. And we've got the unions, 11 unions coming. We want the white progressives, white and mainstream, everybody to support us, but we want to emphasize our issue. You need to be there for this. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can call the toll-free number right now at 1-877-626-4651. Let's go to the sage of the South, Brother Jihad in Atlanta. Brother Jihad.
How you brothers doing? Hey, good evening, afternoon rather, to both of you.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Reverend Al, two things if I could. I've heard, Brother C. Wright, that if the Republicans win in this position they're taking, we could lose up to 35 black seats in Congress. Have you heard that? And could you comment on that?
Brother C. Wright.
That's somewhat true. That's somewhat true if they can be successful around the country with what they're trying to do. Some of that is partly true. That's not including the court intervening and voting what's left of the Voting Rights Act that's still in place.
Okay, yeah, because I heard one of the congressmen talk about how serious this particular situation is if they're successful in doing that. You know, secondly, I'd like to address a situation where some people say that Obama could have done the same thing or ruled like Trump is ruling, and that's far from the truth. You know what I mean? If one might just reflect in history, when Trump got in the first time, do you remember him having the cabinet that he selected? A lot of them fought him on different issues and different positions that he wanted to take, to some extent till he fired them. You know what I mean? So the idea that Obama could have just ran rampant over the government and did anything, just put any legislation in place, not legislation, but any order in place, and it would have been executed, was far from the truth. What Trump did was the second term around, he got the Supreme Court, he got the Senate, he got people who were inexperienced in government to put in top positions that would do anything he say. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, sometimes when we throw out these narratives that any, Obama had the ability to do the same thing that's wrong. And I just wanted to point that picture out. That's totally not true. You know what I mean? Obama could not have done the silly things and the unlawful and unpopular things that this president is doing right now. And I just want to throw that out there. Thank you very much, President.
All right, thank you. Let me get Rick in from Germany. Rick.
Good day, Reverend Al.
Good day.
And good day to you, Mr. C. Wright.
You're kind, Rick. Thank you.
I will be kind. I just have three quick comments. First of all, I believe that Putin wants to rebuild the Soviet Union and the old Iron Curtain countries as a buffer against NATO and the West on the ground. Number two, Trump is baiting black, criminally oriented youth into striking at police and National Guard in the government areas and business district of Washington, D.C. I pray the young folks, criminal or otherwise, don't fall for the trick. And last but not least, love, family, and community is all that matters now. I believe we've only got 35 years until total apocalypse and pole shift. Gentlemen, I'm done.
All right, thank you for your call. And I think that whatever we do, we've got to be conscious of those that are not on our side. Evangelist Ramsey just wrote, she quoted what I said in one of my morning thoughts. Snakes, when you deal with snakes, don't kill them with kindness, kill them with distance. Stay away from snakes and keep organizing, keep doing what's right. I think we waste a lot of energy on people that just are bound and are committed to be destructive. And if we organize people that want to be right, then I think we get things done. One of the things that I've learned, Antoine, is that a lot of our people in our community, I'm talking about the black community, want to do what is right if they are given the sound strategy on what is right and where does it lead. Just because somebody make a noise don't mean they're speaking, they speak for masses they never talk to. And I think that is what, one of the things I always say, I don't care how many TV shows I get, go to the White House, whatever, I'm on radio every day talking to the people. I do my rallies every Saturday. You got to talk to people that you speak for. And we have too many leaders that are talking to their friends and not talking to the people.
Well, Reb, you often hear me say, I think I may have said this on your program before, there's a difference between K Street and Main Street and my street. Elections are won or lost on Main Street and my street. Things are discussed on K Street, and we've got to separate the two. And it's not just talking with people. We've got to stop talking at people, and we've got to simplify our message and our messaging so much so that an 8-year-old can understand it and digest it. And I think that's the challenge. And to your point, to quote your old friend James Brown, a lot of activists out here who are doing activities and they just talking loud and ain't saying nothing.
That's right.
And so we've got to stop misappropriating our time. I think it was Andy Young. Is it Andy Young or Lou Stokes who said that first? We got to stop this business of misappropriating our time and our resources and get into the meaningful and intentional engagement. And I think that's the difference between us and them. We execute.
No, I think you're right. And see, and we are always going to have those that major in being contrary. There's never been a movement that didn't have critics and people that are contrary. But you can't waste, and I say this out of experience because I used to waste a lot of time arguing with folks, and as I became more mature, I learned that energy you should be talking to the 80% that want to hear both sides or hear the options, rather than arguing with 3 or 4% that just want to be seen, want to make noise, because it was the noise makers that helped us defeat Hillary Clinton and put down Trump in the first time and came back again with Kamala. Just noise. They ain't going to do nothing. The Democrats ain't done nothing, this, that, and the other. So you therefore end up with the worst of the worst. And you notice we don't hear from them. I look at this radio, the log on our live stream, and look at our call screen of people calling every day. The people that were calling during the election down in Kamala have not called this show since then. And the same thing happened in 16. I've been on 19 years. The same thing happened in 16 with Hillary, which means that a lot of them were assigned to call. They never became regular callers. As soon as they did their job, helped defeat Hillary, defeat Kamala, we heard from them. And that's why, I don't care if you're young or old, I like to deal with people with a track record. You from South Carolina. My mother's from Alabama. My mother said the first thing they used to ask you when you going to court somebody is, who is your folks? If we don't know who you are, anybody can get on the radio or call the radio and say, my name is Kwame Hububu, and we don't know who you are or who you work for. But I know I ain't heard from you since the election. And that's real suspect to me. So that's why I say let's organize those that want to be organized, and those that are contrary, let them have the contrary thing. I tell people all the time, I know I haven't heard any, but they probably also, well, I ain't in the march and I ain't going to Sharpton march. Good. Go ahead, your march. Go ahead, your rally. And I promise you, I will not criticize it. Do whatever it is you think is right. But in my experience, I know that you have to have pressure on the outside to help empower those on the inside to deal with helping both of us from both sides. And if you got another way, do that. I ain't never broken your meeting and interrupted you, and never will. So let everybody do what they supposed to do, because we are in a precarious position. This is no time to be spending energy on stuff that's not going to make a difference for our people. And that's the way I feel about it. We're out of time. Let me thank Antoine Seawright, kick off another week for us. Let me thank all of you that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyway. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. I'll talk to you tomorrow.